Hey guys, Somebody's Gun here. Today we're going to be watching the two games that Scented Edgey won and came in second place during week 3 of the FNCS Duo Finals. They went ahead and won game 2, sorry. That's going to be this game, and then we'll watch game 3 where they come in second. They do some fairly interesting stuff. Other stuff isn't going to be super interesting. It's just going to be effective. What they do is play a very safe game. They play together and play as a duo extremely well. You can tell these guys have been playing together for a long time because they're always in sync, always doing the right things. So while they're rotating here to third, we see they're going fairly center, not totally center. And they're going to go ahead base up on the side of the mountain here. What that does is give them protection, make sure that they're limiting the angles that they can be shot from. We're going to run into Storm Surge here, and teams are likely going to be looking for plays. What these two did in second zone was base up fairly high and then go ahead, get as many tags as possible, so they don't really need to worry about Storm Surge. They're going to do the same thing here. They're going to look for tags, but not try and make a play. These guys don't necessarily like fighting mid-game, or at least that's not what these replays show. Let me go ahead, fast forward this. Honestly, this is not super exciting gameplay, but like I said, it is effective. It does work, and I want to share it with you guys. So essentially, they just build full metal bases, look for some tags, they'll take some shots when available, but it's really not going to be more than just sitting in their cones in full metal during third, letting the lobby die down. They're in good position to rotate to next zone if they need. What winds up happening here is the next zone falls right on them. So boom, don't really need to rotate. They're kind of on edge here, so they're in a good position to get tags and boost up their damage to not take any more Storm Surge, or I shouldn't say any more. They've never taken Storm Surge, so to not take any Storm Surge damage. And we see, I mean, nothing special about this gameplay, just playing it safe. Going for very minimal peaks. When they make an edit, they'll hold afterwards. That's something very important, especially with double heavy snipers or people spraying. You see that edit be made, and then people will go ahead and spray that wall because it's weak, might get a tag on you. But if you hold it after the edit, it's going to save you from taking damage. And really just help you play a smoother, safer game, especially in mid-game when you're boxed up like this. So we'll just keep bouncing back and forth. Not really any insane analysis here. Nothing crazy, groundbreaking I can watch for you guys, except how consistent they are with this gameplay. I watched 3 games thus far, and they continue to do the same thing over and over again. They like to get in fairly center of third zone if possible. They won't push it if it's going to cost them too many materials. And then fourth and fifth, typically going to try and get edge or center-ish edge. They're not going to go exactly center in third or fourth, but when they're in center of third, they don't really need to move for fourth on most occasions. And then what we'll see them do for sixth is they typically like to pad or rotate on ultimate low ground. So again, we just see them getting tags. Both of them have no kills, but if we look at their materials, they're chilling right now. Both well over 120 mats. That's key. We don't see it in this game. We'll see it in the next one, but they're always farming during rotations. They'll go ahead, grab 1 or 2 hits on something if possible. And let's go ahead and slow this down because Scented is making a very clean rotation here, not taking up a ton of builds, and Edgey is following almost right behind. This is something, again, they do extremely well. Always on top of one another, always on the same page. We're getting some replay lag here. So then when someone does drop in their box, they're together. They can play it as a duo. It's not something, again, groundbreaking, but when you play the game yourself, you find it is harder than it looks to stay with someone at all times, while also trying to make plays, trying to continue moving forward, trying to get tags on people. So credit to these guys for being able to do that on a consistent basis. Their synergy shows from playing with one another so long. And we see that rotation there on 6th and now to 7th. So 6 zone rotation is going to be on ultimate low. 7th, they recognize, okay, we need to get up. There's going to be people psychoing into boxes for materials. And luckily, Edgey was holding that box while that RPG was shot, so it saved Scented from falling down, taking more damage. And now they've used a good bit of mats. So they're going to play this fairly slowly here in 8th. They're already in 7th, looking for rotations, both on good health. But what they do better than I've seen most teams is before they're absolutely shambles, they'll drop down to low and then stay front side of zone. When they're below, 20 builds or so for each player. And what that does is gives them the opportunity to make plays that most people on low ground are not going to be able to. They're staying on front side of zone, and because they're not going for height plays, they're not wasting mats getting sprayed. Honestly, I'm amazed at how well they make these rotations without getting pressured by other people. But it's their positioning. They're on the front side of zone. They stay ultimate low. They're always aware of what's going on around them. So instead of just, making a rotation just because, they understand what the rotation is going to be, where other players are going to be. That way they can make the educated decision and make plays. So, they are West players, and you think typically of people on West psychoing for height, but these two have proven that you can play low ground, be successful, and even do that consistently to win games, come in top 5, and you don't need to pop off for a ton of eliminations. You see they only have 5 here, but that's a huge game. A win and 5 elims, especially in the finals, is not easy to do. So hats off to those guys. That's a big game from them. Good win. And let's go ahead and hop into the second game, kind of show that consistency that they're showing, and again, reinforcing the points that I'm talking about. All right, here's game 2, and so we'll see them play this a little bit differently. They're going to start... we're jumping in with them on 3rd zone closing. So instead of going center like they did last game, they were getting pressured moving in. They replaced this house right here, this little hut on the outside of Lazy Lake, and just constantly looking to refarm materials. And instead of waiting for something to happen, you can see Scented has his builds out. He's waiting to replace in case someone pressures them, not trying to take unnecessary tags. If we go to Edgey, he's just waiting. They're both just waiting, trying to wait out the zone, wait for the next to pop up. We'll go ahead, fast forward this a little, but one thing I'll talk about them doing is just always farming, always taking a couple extra hits on something when they need to. If we look at both of them, both looking very good on materials, so not going to have to worry about that. They have a fairly, I wouldn't say tough rotate, but in these zones with the amount of people, any rotation here is going to be difficult. So we'll slow this down, just watch what they do. Use wood. It's going to be easily replaceable, and it's the most easily replaceable. Scented is obviously going to IGL here. He's going to guide these guys into the zone, use old materials so they don't have to waste a ton. but will build when he has to. And then they put themselves in a good position. We'll see. After this server lag comes back to us. But now they're sitting on edge of 4th. They're in a fairly good position. They're on the packed side of zone. So tags are going to be a little harder to come by. But at least you'll know that you're not as likely to get focused by the entire lobby if the entire lobby is above you. So again, we see them sitting in fully built metal boxes waiting. They are not in as good of a position for Storm Surge as the previous game. So we'll see them go ahead and try and get some more tags, get more damage. Excuse me. And this is what I'm talking about. The entire lobby is now focusing on these guys over there because they're also sitting edge, and then the entire lobby is back behind these guys. So they'll grab a couple tags here, but still obviously need more. And let's switch over to Edgey's perspective in a second. They get some damage. That's key. That guy goes down because the lobby decided it was his time. And then we're going to go ahead and make another play here because they know the materials are not looking great. They make plays when needed. They're going to replace, grab everything they can. They will own the builds. They recognize via audio cues that this guy got knocked, lost his shield below them. I guess Edgey saw that, and they get a nice refresh here. They're both looking really good on materials. Not going to have to worry about Storm Surge anymore, at least for a couple of zones. They're making plays, have extra mats, can tunnel in now because they're just on the outside or the edge of zone, take up a little more space, and they're chilling. So let's go ahead and speed this up because I don't think they do anything here in this zone. We're going to go ahead and see them pad to 6th zone, which is something that I would recommend. I think it's a smart play considering that a lot of the lobby will die moving in first or second moving. You see, let's pause this right here. We have 43 people left, and let's check out where this ends once 6th zone closes. So if you can make it a 6, typically that's going to be placement points. And if you can find a way to safely pad without getting yourself focused by the lobby, padding at a poor time, basically what you want to look for is audio cues of other people padding, and then other people start rotating. And once that happens, you're going to have a lot less people focusing up in the air. That way, you can get a fairly safe rotate. And they get a slightly short pad here, which is kind of strange. I don't know that they expected that, but Scented goes ahead, tarps in, waits for his boy, looks back multiple times. Boom, there's Edgey on him. And they're ready to get on the front side of zone. This team really likes to play front side of moving zones. I'd say it's safer, in my opinion, because you don't have to worry about players and the zone. If you're constantly pushing on the front edge, you're not going to have to worry about someone in front of you unless they're making a storm play. So that's going to be the front edge play they do in 6th. They do the same thing here in 7th. And again, it's just the smarter way to go about it, in my opinion, because you don't have to worry about people and the zone. A term that I like to use is keep it simple, stupid. You don't want to make the game more difficult than it needs to be. Keep it simple. Make yourself not need to overthink things. If there's zone on one side, then that's one less direction that you have to worry about. right? Makes sense. And then you also don't have to fight to push ahead of zone. If you're on the front side, you're not going to have to chop through old builds unless it goes back. But now we're coming to a place where they're fairly lower on materials, 28 builds on Edgey, 66 on Scented. And they're not hurting, but again, this is the play that I talk about. They go for that low ground before it becomes an issue when they're not on, let's say, 3-5 builds. They go down and play the low ground and are able to make plays, able to replace walls, make edits, and kind of tarp forward. You see 34 builds together on the two. It's a perfect time, and from what I've seen these guys do, to get on low, because you just have people on shambles. They're not really going to be able to build, and you're going to have full control of fights. Balla talks a lot about piece control, and we see the materials he picked up: 58 wood and then 58 metal. So that's what High Sky had. He had no builds to even fight back, so these guys controlled the fight, had total control. And then again, this is just what's going to happen on low ground. These guys are excellent players. Sometimes you'll be able to win the entire thing. Sometimes the lobby will be too chaotic and there'll be too many third-party fights. But picking up elims, continuing to fight, continuing to move forward, and then we see farming a little bit more. But I mean, that's really it, guys. They just play a very smooth game. I wish I could say that there was something about it that was groundbreaking. They had some amazing gameplay. The biggest key that I will see from them is that opportunity to jump down on low ground before they're absolute shambles, so they are able to control fights, have great piece control, and kind of take over on low ground before they completely run out of mats and just dominate the people on ultimate low. In general, I mean, they play a very smooth game. They're always together, and you know, I hope there was something you guys could take away from that. It's a great week from them. They came first. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead, like, subscribe, follow, comment, do all that crap. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you.